multi-core cable, of course we should talk about multi-pin connectors. If you're making a multi-core, in some cases you're going to be hardwiring to maybe a wall panel or a stage box and so on, but in some cases you'll actually want to have a multi-pin connection so you can detach things like a stage box or detach from a wall panel. Here's one we prepared earlier. So this is a 48 channel multi-core which has a detachable ring lock on this side.
Nice and handy, nice and reliable, looks big, but it replaces effectively all of those. Now this being what they would call a header, is going to be connecting from a multi-pin point, and then this end is going to be going into either a patch bay or into a mixing console. Many people enjoy going down the multi-pin connector road, as it means it's just one simple, quick, takes seconds to connect so many channels in the one go, and you know all the phases are correct, you know everything is in order as it needs to be. In the live circumstances, we get called on more and more frequently for the assembly of large multi-cores, so anything from 24 channels upwards to 48 channels or even 56 channel multi-core systems, and they may want to split or they have a long run for the front of house position. That's a lot of weight in cable, and of course the stage box has a fair bit of weight in it itself. And again, unless you are particularly careful and you know what you're doing, it can be prone to damage because of that combined weight. One of the other answers to avoid that is to multi-pin terminate the stage box to the main cable or the longest or the heaviest length of cable. Means you don't have the combined weight to deal with. You're not dragging a box along the floor, getting caught in chairs and tables and anything else. And it also means you have a very quick, constant and reliable connection to lock on and also to lock off. Usually just a quarter turn and it clip locks into place. So certainly, again, a very convenient, very quick and very reliable means of connecting.
Okay, so we've got a couple of examples here that we can show the lovely viewers at home.
These are a couple of sort of newer styles. This is from the company Link, also out of Italy, and they are an associate company of Eurocables. And again, they are well known for their multi-pin connector systems. They make multi-pin connectors to suit 4 channels all the way up to 55 channels, all with individual earths. So that can be anything from 13 pins in total up to 200 pins. This is a new style for speaker line array systems. This will actually hold 25 pins, and they're all capable of handling a great amount of current. And also you can use it with up to 4 square mil speaker cable, which while I'm on that topic is the likes of this. This is not going to be an everyday sort of a thing for most people, but it just goes to show you that in the digital world people still rely upon a lot of copper.
So with these connectors, I noticed that they've got what look like locking collar rings on.
Yep.
So that's normally on the female connector, is that right?
In the case of Link and many of the others, yes, it's usually on the female connector. And the most cost-effective one is that the female is going to be on the cable end and the male will be the panel mount. Mm-hmm. It's the combination they make the most of, so therefore just the weight of numbers means that the price is more cost-effective. And also having the locking ring on the cable connector means it's easier to grip because it's on the cable to lock in and lock off, as versus it being on a panel where you have to try and get your hand next to the panel to also operate the locking ring. Here we have 2 examples of different styles of rings as well. This is the most common format now that we're using on all our connectors, which is quite a deep ring with large raised grip sections, and it has a rubberised finish. So very positive grip, very easy to use. This is a fairly traditional, slightly more traditional variation where they just have a serrated edged aluminium sort of part of the locking ring. No rubberising to that at all. Also quite easy to handle, but when you start to get up to larger configurations, the force required is just a little bit harder to maintain grip on it. This is also another one of a style of connector which we don't see that much in Australia, which they call a hermaphrodite, so it's male and female. So therefore it's the one line connector, it's the one panel mount connector. Quite convenient in having that sort of format because you don't have to worry about which end is which, but by the same token it's much more complicated to wire, and it's also a more expensive connector initially. As I said, not very widely used here in Australia at all. Much wider use in America.
I notice here this has got a dust cap on it.
Yes, they are available as an option. This is what they call a 3-pin ramping system. So there's 3 guide pins on this locking ring. It's simply a matter of about a quarter of a turn, and then it clip locks into position.